If your legs feel heavy, cold, or strangely tired at the end of the day, your body may already be trying to warn you about something deeper, and most people miss it until it starts affecting how they walk, sleep, and even how safe they feel moving around their own home. Before we go any further, if you care about protecting your health and staying independent as you age, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps me reach more people who need this information, and it ensures you don't miss what could truly make a difference for your body. I want you to imagine something for a second. You wake up in the morning, you stand, and there's that subtle stiffness. Maybe a slight tingling in your calves. Maybe your feet feel colder than they used to. You shake it off, you tell yourself it's just aging, but what I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Those small changes are often early signs that your circulation isn't working as efficiently as it should. And when circulation slows down, your muscles, nerves, and tissues stop getting the oxygen and nutrients they depend on. I've seen this happen too many times. People ignore these early signs because they're not painful enough, not dramatic enough. But over time, it can lead to weakness, cramps, slower healing, and in some cases, a higher risk of serious complications, especially if blood sugar or heart health is already a concern. Most people immediately think of magnesium when they hear about leg issues, and yes, magnesium plays a role in muscle function, but here's where things take an unexpected turn. There is another vitamin, far less talked about, that plays a critical role in keeping your blood vessels relaxed, your circulation flowing, and your legs feeling alive and strong. And the problem is, many adults over 40 are quietly deficient in it without even realizing it. Not because they're careless, but because modern diets, stress, and even certain medications can gradually deplete it over time. And when that happens, your blood vessels can become tighter, less flexible, making it harder for blood to reach where it needs to go. That's when the symptoms begin. Subtle at first, but increasingly noticeable, and often misunderstood. So if you've ever felt like your legs just don't have the same energy they used to, or you've noticed those quiet signals your body is sending, stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change how you look at your health, and more importantly, how you take care of it moving forward. What I'm about to share with you is something most people don't realize until much later, and by then, they often wish they had paid attention sooner. The vitamin I'm referring to is vitamin D. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Vitamin D? Isn't that just for bones? That's exactly why it's so often overlooked. Because while vitamin D is widely known for supporting bone strength, its role in circulation is far more significant than most people have been told. You see, your blood vessels are not just passive tubes carrying blood. They are active, responsive structures that expand and contract depending on your body's needs. And for them to function properly, they rely on signals, chemical signals that tell them when to relax and allow better blood flow. Vitamin D plays a key role in that process. When your body has enough of it, your blood vessels are better able to relax, helping blood move more freely through your legs and extremities. But when levels drop, those vessels can become more rigid, less responsive, and circulation can begin to slow. I've seen patients come in describing symptoms that seem unrelated at first: cold feet, mild swelling, fatigue in the legs, even a slight burning or tingling sensation. Many assume it's just part of getting older, but in some cases, it's actually linked to low vitamin D levels, affecting how efficiently blood is reaching those areas. And here's the part that often surprises people the most. Even individuals who spend time outdoors or believe they're eating well can still be deficient. As we age, our skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. At the same time, the kidneys, another key player in activating this vitamin, don't work as efficiently as they once did. So even if you're doing everything right, your body may still not be getting what it needs. And when circulation begins to suffer, your legs are often one of the first places where you feel it. That heaviness at the end of the day, that subtle discomfort when walking longer distances, that feeling like your legs just don't bounce back the way they used to. These are not random. They're signals, quiet ones, but important. And understanding what your body is trying to tell you is the first step towards supporting it in the right way. Because once you recognize the role vitamin D plays, not just in bones, but in circulation, you begin to see your symptoms differently, not as something to ignore, but as something you can respond to, early, wisely, and safely. Now here's where things become even more important, because recognizing low vitamin D isn't always as obvious as you might expect. Most people are waiting for a clear, undeniable symptom, something strong enough to force their attention. But the truth is, vitamin D deficiency often whispers before it ever shouts. You might notice your legs feel unusually tired, even after light activity. Not the kind of tired that comes from a long walk, but a deeper, heavier fatigue that seems to linger longer than it should. Some people describe it as if their legs just don't have the same strength or responsiveness anymore. Others begin to notice subtle cramping, especially at night. You're lying in bed, trying to rest, and suddenly there's that tightening sensation in your calf. It passes, but it leaves you wondering why it keeps happening. Then there's the feeling of coldness. Even in a warm room, your feet may feel colder than the rest of your body. You might find yourself rubbing them together, wearing extra socks, or adjusting your position just to feel comfortable. This can sometimes be linked to circulation not delivering enough warm, oxygen-rich blood to those areas. I've seen this happen too many times. People dismiss these signs because they don't seem urgent. They assume it's just part of getting older, or maybe they blame it on being less active. But what I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Vitamin D doesn't just influence blood flow. It also plays a role in muscle function and nerve signaling. So when levels are low, the effects can show up in multiple ways at once. That slight imbalance when walking. That hesitation when stepping downstairs. That feeling like your legs aren't quite as steady as they used to be. It's not always dramatic, but it is meaningful. And here's something else most people don't realize. These symptoms can overlap with other conditions, especially issues related to blood sugar or heart health. That's why they're so easy to misinterpret or overlook entirely. The body rarely gives just one signal. It gives patterns. And when you start connecting those patterns, fatigue, coldness, cramping, reduced endurance, you begin to see a clearer picture of what might be happening beneath the surface. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Because when you understand these early signals, you give yourself a chance to respond before those small discomforts turn into bigger limitations. And that's where real prevention begins. Not when things become severe, but when you decide to listen while your body is still speaking quietly. What makes this even more concerning is how easily low vitamin D can go unnoticed for years, quietly affecting your circulation while everything else seems normal on the surface. I've had patients tell me, "Doctor, I thought I was just slowing down." And I understand why they feel that way. Aging does bring changes, but not every change should be accepted without question, especially when your body may be lacking something essential. Let me explain something that most people don't realize. Your circulatory system depends heavily on the health of a thin inner lining inside your blood vessels. This lining helps control how wide or narrow your vessels become. When it's functioning well, blood flows smoothly. When it's not, circulation can become sluggish and less efficient. Vitamin D helps support this delicate balance. Without enough of it, that inner lining may not function as effectively. Blood vessels can become less flexible, and over time, this can contribute to reduced blood flow, especially to areas like your legs and feet, which are already farther from the heart. And here's where lifestyle quietly makes things worse. If you spend long hours sitting, if your physical activity has decreased, or if you're managing conditions like high blood sugar or blood pressure, your circulation is already under extra strain. Low vitamin D can add another layer to that strain, not dramatically overnight, but gradually, consistently. That's why some people begin to notice their legs feel heavier after sitting too long, or they feel stiffness when they first stand up, or their recovery after walking takes longer than it used to. These are not random inconveniences. They're small indicators that your circulation may need support. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you even more. Many adults assume they're getting enough vitamin D simply because they live in sunny environments. But sunlight alone doesn't guarantee adequate levels, especially as we age, or if we spend most of our time indoors, or if our skin isn't exposed directly for long enough periods. And diet alone often isn't enough either. Very few foods naturally contain meaningful amounts of vitamin D, which makes it one of the most common deficiencies worldwide. So you can see how this happens. Not through neglect, but through subtle gaps that build over time. And when those gaps affect something as fundamental as circulation, your legs are often where you feel it first. The good news is, once you understand this connection, you're no longer guessing. You're making informed decisions. And that's where things can begin to change, not instantly, not magically, but steadily, in a way your body can truly benefit from. So the question becomes, what can you actually do about it in a safe, realistic, and effective way? Because awareness is powerful, but only if it leads to action. The first step is understanding where your vitamin D levels stand. I always encourage patients, especially those over 40, to speak with their healthcare provider about a simple blood test. It's one of the most straightforward ways to see whether your body is getting enough or quietly running low. And here's why that matters. Taking too little may not help, but taking too much without guidance isn't wise either. Balance is key. Once you know your levels, you can begin supporting your body in ways that are both safe and appropriate for you. Now let's talk about sunlight, because this is where many people feel confused. Sunlight is one of the most natural sources of vitamin D. When your skin is exposed to direct sunlight, your body begins producing it on its own. But what most people don't realize is that factors like age, skin tone, time of day, and even clothing can significantly affect how much you actually produce. For many adults, especially those who spend more time indoors, sunlight alone may not be enough. That's where food becomes important. Certain foods like fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy products can help support your intake, not in extreme amounts, but consistently over time. Small, steady habits often make a bigger difference than occasional efforts. And then there are supplements. Now, this is where I want you to be thoughtful, not reactive. Supplements can be helpful when used correctly, especially if a deficiency is confirmed. But they should be taken in the right dosage, ideally with professional guidance, because your needs are unique to your body. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Vitamin D works best when it's part of a bigger picture. It doesn't act alone. It interacts with other nutrients, your activity level, your circulation, and even how well you sleep. So while improving your vitamin D levels may help support better blood flow, it's most effective when combined with simple daily habits, like gentle movement, stretching your legs, staying hydrated, and avoiding long periods of inactivity. I've seen this combination make a meaningful difference, not overnight, but gradually. People begin to notice their legs feel lighter, their endurance improves, and that constant sense of heaviness begins to ease. Not because of one dramatic change, but because they finally started supporting their body in the way it needed all along. There's another piece of this puzzle that most people overlook, and it might be one of the most important. Even if you begin supporting your vitamin D levels, your daily habits can either strengthen that progress or quietly work against it. I've seen patients who improve their nutrition, even take supplements correctly, but still feel like something is missing. Their legs don't quite regain that sense of ease they were hoping for. And when we look closer, It often comes down to how blood is actually moving through the body day to day. Circulation depends on movement, not intense exercise, not anything extreme, but consistent, gentle movement that keeps blood flowing. Think about what happens when you sit for long periods. Blood tends to pool in the lower part of your body. Your muscles aren't contracting enough to help push it back upward. Over time, this can contribute to that heavy, sluggish feeling in your legs. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Sometimes the most powerful support for circulation isn't complicated at all. It's standing up every hour. It's taking a short walk around your home. It's flexing your feet, rotating your ankles, or simply stretching your calves while sitting. These small actions act like a natural pump, helping your veins move blood more efficiently back toward your heart. And when this is combined with adequate vitamin D levels, your body is better equipped to maintain smoother, healthier blood flow. Hydration also plays a quiet but important role. When your body is even mildly dehydrated, your blood can become slightly thicker, making it more difficult to circulate efficiently. This can subtly add to that feeling of fatigue or heaviness in your legs, especially later in the day. Then there's footwear. I know this may seem simple, but tight or unsupportive shoes can restrict circulation more than people realize. Choosing comfortable footwear that allows proper blood flow can make a noticeable difference over time. And finally, posture. Sitting with your legs crossed for long periods or staying in one position too long can reduce circulation to certain areas. Making small adjustments, uncrossing your legs, shifting your position, elevating your feet slightly when resting, can help your body maintain better flow. None of these changes are dramatic, but together, they create an environment where your circulation can improve. And that's the key, because your body doesn't respond to one single action, it responds to patterns, supportive patterns, consistent habits, small decisions repeated daily. I've seen how these changes, when combined, can help people feel more stable, more comfortable, and more confident in their movement again. Not because they did something extreme, but because they finally aligned their habits with what their body truly needed. There's something I want to leave you with, something I tell my patients often, especially when they begin to notice these quiet changes in their body. Your legs are not just carrying your weight, they are carrying your independence. And when circulation begins to slow, even slightly, it can affect far more than comfort. It can influence your confidence, your balance, your ability to move freely without hesitation. That's why these small signals matter. That heaviness at the end of the day, that subtle cramp that wakes you at night, that moment when you stand and feel just a little less steady than you used to. Most people brush these off. But what I'm about to tell you might stay with you. Your body rarely fails without warning. It whispers first. And one of those whispers, for many adults, is a gradual decline in vitamin D, affecting circulation in ways that are easy to overlook until they become harder to ignore. This isn't about fear. It's about paying attention while you still have the ability to respond early. Because early action doesn't require drastic measures. It starts with awareness. It continues with simple steps, checking your levels, supporting your body with balanced nutrition, moving regularly, staying hydrated, and making small adjustments that add up over time. I've seen people regain a sense of ease in their legs, feel more stable walking, and most importantly, feel more in control of their health again. Not because they chased quick fixes, but because they respected the signals their body was giving them. And that's something you can start today. Take a moment tonight and notice how your legs feel. Pay attention when you stand up. Listen to your body without dismissing it. Because the goal isn't just to live longer, it's to live well, to move freely, to feel confident in your own body. And if this message helped you see your health in a new way, I encourage you to share it with someone who might need it too. Sometimes the smallest piece of information, shared at the right time, can make a meaningful difference in someone's life. Take care of your body. It's been taking care of you all along.